In this lesson, we are going to take a look at enhancing selections through the use of ordering and limiting.
Okay.
In the previous lesson, we looked at how a where clause could be used with the select as well as other commands in order to retrieve only specific data. That way we don't get the entire table given back to us.
I see what you're saying. So if we have like a huge table, we don't want all that table to be shown at one time. We only want a few of them.
Right. We've already covered how to do that with a where clause. Now let's take a look at how we can further refine the information that's been given to us through the use of ordering and limiting.
Okay.
Now, before I get started, I'm going to add one extra record to our test table, just so we have more data to work with and make things a little bit more clear.
Okay.
I'm going to jump back to the text buffer, and we'll say that we want to insert into test the username field, give it the values, ed. We'll put ed back in the table.
All right.
And yes, I pretty much could have just run it here, but it's nice to have it in the background. And it would be a good idea to have our
actually select the database. Yeah.
So we should be good. Now let's take a look at what we have in the table at the moment.
All right.
So select star from test. And we have Terry, Logan, and Ed.
Cool.
So we've seen, like I said, in the past lesson we looked at how we could use a where clause to pull a specific name, a specific ID. Now, let's take a look at reordering results. You can see if we didn't specify an order, we got the records back in the order that they were entered.
Okay.
Let's say that instead we wanted to order by the username. So that way we get an alphabetical ordering. So let's take a look at what this would be. We, of course, will need to use select. So for now we'll select all fields. So select star from test and form.
Yeah.
Select star from test. I'm going to omit the where clause. You'll see that using ordering and limiting do not rely on a where clause. They can be used by themselves or even with each other or with a where clause. All can be used interchangeably.
Okay.
So select star from test, omitting a where clause so we get all records in the table.
Right.
I'm going to say order by, and then we specify what field we want to order by. So we'll say the username.
Username.
Like such. So select star from test, order by username.
And look at that.
And check it out.
ELT.
So we have in fact readjusted the order. Now, one other thing to look at with order by is you can actually specify whether the results are given back to you in ascending order or descending order.
I see what
that
you're saying.
Basically means lowest record first or highest record first. I'm going to change that to, no, I'll leave it username.
Okay.
I was going to say change it to the auto ID to give the numerical value, but this should work. By ascending value, it's starting with either the lowest in value, if you're talking about a number, or the first letter, if you're talking about alphabetical ordering. And by default, order defaults to using the ascending method.
Okay.
Let's change it to descending. So after we specify the field, we can specify how we want to order. So in order to use descending, you specify DESC.
Okay.
So let's copy this and run it. So you can see we have reversed the order of the names.
And there we go.
If you would like to explicitly say ascending, you could use ASC. You wouldn't have to worry about that, because again, it defaults to ASC.
I see.
But let's paste this in. And there we go.
Okay.
So that pretty much covers ordering. Simple ordering is just a matter of specifying a field that you wish to order by and the direction you wish to order.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward.
So now let's take a look at using limit. So I'm going to copy part of this and build a new query. So this time we'll say select star from test. And now let's say that we have some HTML page that has a specific number of slots for information. And we're going to fill those slots with data from a MySQL database.
Okay.
Now we want to ensure that we don't exceed the number of slots we have for data. Meaning, let's say we run the select star from test.
Right.
This gives us 3 records. That would exceed our 2 data slots.
I see.
So let's say we want to limit the number of possible records, even if there were more that matched our query.
I gotcha.
We can do that by using limit. So if I were to type out limit, and then you specify a number. So in this case, if we have 2 data salts, we say 2. So select star from test, limit 2. And let's run this. And you can see we got
there we go.
only 2 returned. So really, it's that simple. Just limit and then specify how many records you would like to get as a maximum.
I see.
Now, one thing to keep in mind is this will not give you an exact number of records. For instance, in this case, if we were to say limit 5, this isn't going to give us 5 records, as we don't have 5 to begin with.
I see.
So if we run this, we still get only 3.
Only the 3 that are on there.
So limit will return the specified number up until the maximum rows within the table. You can't use it to magically create extra rows.
I see.
So that's something to keep in mind. If you're using limit 10 and you're expecting to get 10 records, you could still get fewer if there are less than 10 records within a specific table.
I see. So this is pretty handy whenever you have like a huge list, of like, 200-300, I guess we'll go to example usernames, and you want to get feedback for everyone with the, username that starts with a T, and you only have, 3 slots on there, and you have 50 people that have the username T, so it'll give you 3 people from that.
Exactly. So really, that's all we need to cover in this lesson. Really, just a brief overview of using order and limit, but both of these can be very helpful in refining your selections.
I see.
So with that, that's going to wrap up this lesson.
All right.